What's a word in German that we need to know? You were saying like the cheers one?
Prost.
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 Hello everyone! Today I'm starting my series interviewing the Breakers lovely ladies from cohort October 2022 of the Break program. We're gonna do it here on our lovely terrace in Villa Civil in Cantabria, and let's meet them. Here we go! Hello Bobs! Barbara, but we call you Bobs. How are you today?
I'm good, but I'm also tired.
Yeah, it's been a long journey.
An intense journey.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about yourself, where you're from.
I'm from Hamburg in Germany, and I am a social entrepreneur. I'm a founder of WirMarkt, which is a cooperative supermarket to be, and yeah, that's what I do.
Tell me a little bit more about what is a cooperation supermarket? Yeah.
So the concept of the supermarket is that you are a co-owner when you become a member. So it's not only managed by a few persons, it's actually a self-managed organization. And it is meant to bring more democracy into the food system. So we, when I say we, it's my co-founder and me, we determined that the food system, within the food system, the supermarket has a huge potential, because it's the interface between producers and farmers and consumers, and it has just a huge potential to have a good impact on social and environmental transformation. And that's why we decided to form a model, or take a model that's already existing, that includes more the voice of the consumers, but also follows the values of fair prices into both directions, producers and consumers, and a lot of transparency focused on price system and transparency, of course, to the supply chain and the impact it will have.
Oh, it's super interesting. We don't have that in Bulgaria. Is that a concept that it has been developed somewhere?
So I think the earliest model in the size of the supermarket is known from the 70s, 1973. There's a supermarket that started in New York, and it still exists today. And it actually the founder of the supermarket actually had also to develop other supermarkets, for example, or established a cooperative supermarket in Paris and La Louvre, I think in 2016, and in Brussels. And from then, I think there's just several models. Even, for example, in Spain, in Madrid, there's a cooperative supermarket.
Really? Yes. You should take me there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to go there on Monday.
Oh, great. So it's been a while, that concept.
Yeah, it's not a new model. It's just, of course, because of the time that changes, like you can develop and adjust it a bit more towards more digital interfaces, or a bit more modern supermarket thinking.
And what are your challenges right now?
Challenges are, for example, finding a place, because it is not easy to find a location in Hamburg to rent in a certain neighborhood, because we need a neighborhood of people that are willing to really interested in this alternative supermarket model. And that doesn't have a too high rent, because it's also a very social oriented business model. And so we try to lower the cost of rent, and we actually, because it's community based, I forgot to mention, your membership fee is 3 hours of work each month, so it also lowers the labor cost.
Oh, great. And how did you decide to start this? Because tell me a little bit more about your experience before that as well.
Yeah.
And how did you decide to start this project?
So I'm an industrial engineer, and I started after university, started working in 2 different consulting firms, focused on production process improvements, lean management, first in chemical and pharmaceutical industry, and then later on in aviation industry. So it was a lot about improving processes, lowering costs, and raising profits in huge company contexts. And so all in all, I was just a bit like, I think, disillusionated from, I didn't feel the sense of why do you have to just only think about profits and not about the impact of the company, like on the people within the company, but also the people that are around the company, just interacting, and also the environment. So I was really wondering if there are any other ways to use my knowledge or to build up even a different approach of an organization model or business model. And so I think 4 years ago I quit my job and I just started to look around, like what other approaches for business models and organizations are, and I came up with self-managed organization. I don't know if Lalu is a name that you heard about, like Sociocraty, which is an approach that people, like, it's not a vertical approach within a company of hierarchy, but also more horizontal people that are involved in the company get a voice and have more power, and power is distributed accordingly to roles, and also, of course, connecting that organization model with a purpose that has an impact on environment and on people, because that's another reason why I changed to that way, because of course I read a lot about climate change and about social gap.
Yeah.
And I just really had the wish to make a change to that.
Yeah, we spoke about the sociocracy with Esther, so I'm really excited to explore it.
Yeah,
I think I practiced it a little bit, sort of. That's
probably
what the mentors told me, but I want to explore a little bit more. And we're talking about the future, the impact, but I want to, and we talked a little bit about the past as well, but I want to turn you a little bit further back and to ask you, what would you tell to your 18-year-old self?
Yes, good question. I think 18-year-old self, oh wow, I was very unsure of what I wanted to do. I was really in a mood where I thought like, later I'm gonna know what I want to do, and just now I want to explore, and just started applying to different things. And just because I was not really sure of what I wanted to do, but decided for industrial engineering because I was good at maths, and I also was really wanting to be self-independent and to earn enough money to be free. And now I'm actually in a situation where I think it's really interesting, because I don't know, I think I would still go the same way because it brought me where I am, but I could tell myself maybe more to trust the process and to trust in my decisions and in the way that I went. Maybe sometimes take more focus on one thing and not trying too many different things. But yeah, it's just, I think I'm happy that it came that way.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make outtakes?
Yeah. What is your experience, and also what is your opinion about female entrepreneurship? We're also here a big group of female entrepreneurs, you yourself, and you also have a co-founder who is a man,
Mhm.
as I can recall, which is a good balance to have. But in general, what is your opinion about female entrepreneurship?
Oh, I'm really happy I came into like more the circle of female entrepreneurs, because I am like, I think years before I didn't really think about that it's a big challenge, or it can be sometimes challenging but also so empowering, and it's very interesting and very important, I think, to have different styles of leadership. And I think that's what female entrepreneurship, but just in general diversity, brings into a company. And so what is my experience? Since before, when I was just working as a consultant, I worked in a very male-dominated environment, and of course more production areas. And I had of course experiences as in not been taken seriously, had the feeling of like, why are my colleagues earning more than I do, but also not feeling enough self-confident that I'm good enough to earn that money. And just being an entrepreneur, and I'm really lucky to have a co-founder like I do now, like Fabian is, because he's really sensitive towards equality, and we talk a lot about habits and how we feel towards each other and towards our work. Because he also, I remember like at one point he told me, like, I know we all grew up in a usual male-dominated society, so also he will be shaped, like his behavior might be shaped sometimes like old-fashioned, and I really have to tell him when it is like this, because he doesn't want to be that way, and like really wants to work on an equal level. And aware. That's just really good to have that knowledge that we can work completely eye level. And yeah, I still see the challenges in me, and of course a lot of other of my co-entrepreneurial friends, that we women tend to more reflect, tend more to question. I mean, not in general, I guess there are also of course men that do that, but yeah, just being okay with the more emotional part sometimes, or the feminine part, and being able to live that, and still being an entrepreneur and a leader is a good thing.
Yeah. And what is like to be an entrepreneur, and also if you would like a female entrepreneur in Hamburg and in Germany?
Can you repeat that question?
How it's like to be an entrepreneur in Germany, and if you want to have that, you know, nuance of female entrepreneur in Germany and in Hamburg specifically.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have a comparison to other countries so much, but I think the field of social entrepreneurship is quite tough still, because it's not easy to find when you not go the regular startup way of how you have a like big scaling impact of your business and finding investors that just push a lot of money, and then you can sell it at some point. So it's not that way in the social entrepreneurship business, but it's a very interesting area, because I feel like the network is growing. I think Berlin is more the startup, bigger startup network, but Hamburg is also very nice, because it feels like you can find people in each area that you need to, and you can learn from each other, but also it's still a very small community, so you can really shape it together. And regarding the female part, I don't have a comparison of being a male entrepreneur, but no, it's good. Like for example, I work in the Impact Hub Hamburg, and there are a lot of female entrepreneurs as well. So it's good to be able to exchange experiences.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit more about what do you love about Hamburg and Germany in general? Is there something that we really need to know that we don't about Germany and about Germany?
What don't you know about Germany?
I don't know, maybe your favorite thing about the culture.
I'm not sure if I have a favorite thing about the culture, but I mean, in general, I really like Hamburg and the northern part of Germany. So I was born in Hessen, which is more like west and maybe a bit more south, but I grew up in North Rhine-Westphalia, so also like Midwest. And the northern part, Hamburg area, is very, I think, down to earth, more, sometimes a bit more reserved. I think that's maybe a general picture of Germans, more reserved, but I like it because it's not so super official, like going out all the time. I mean, do you know what I want to say? Maybe I find better words for this. So it's not like talking all the time, maybe without anything really to say, not in a superficial way, but in a very honest way. That's my experience with Hamburg and the people. And if you find friends, it's like really deep friendships and lifelong friendships, I would say. And that's my experience with Hamburg.
What's a word in German that we need to know? What was it? You were saying like the cheers one?
Prost.
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 Is that the one?
Prost. Dankeschön. Bitteschön.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Entschuldigung für die Verspätung. This is what I remember from my German.
Yeah.
Grazie. I'm mixing all the languages now. What was the word that meant having fun? Like, for example, if you watch a video of somebody falling and you laugh a lot.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude. That's a super interesting that you have a word for that.
Yeah, but it's so interesting that this word is known everywhere.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, because you're the only ones who have the word to describe it, so that's why we use it everywhere.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about how do you stay productive? Is there a productivity tip that you would like to share with everybody or more?
Yeah. Do I stay productive is the question.
No, lately here it's another
I'm like
universe.
Out of order. So I think for me being productive is getting like really into the feeling of being in the flow, and that happens usually when I'm with people co-creating something. But also then I can go for myself, like to a silent place and just work on it, and no distractions, for just setting a time frame where I can work, because for me it's really important to have no distractions, because we are currently in a time where there are a lot of distractions sometimes. And and productive of course means like setting your goals, but that are reachable, and just finding a way where you can set your tasks to reach it, and always rechecking your goals.
Yeah. Let's talk about the break. It's been a while since we were here already. What are your experiences? What was your experience, and was it what you expected?
So actually I came, I think, with no expectations, or probably with almost no expectations, and so I am very grateful. I'm grateful for the experiences, because since I had no expectations, or maybe I thought a bit like it's going to be super chaotic because, or it could be super chaotic because I have a Spanish friend and she said something like, oh, if it's organized from Spanish organizations, then it's like going to be maybe very chaotic. And I'm like, okay, I'm
maybe
not, I'm not
especially
having
for a
any
German person.
expectations. Yeah. But I felt it was very well organized. Of course, there can always be improvements, but I'm really, really surprised by that, and I'm really happy by that. And I had like expectations that the place of Cantabria here is not super exciting.
Yeah.
And maybe it isn't, but I found it so beautiful. Like, I came here and I was so happy because sometimes even like all these places that are super hyped and super popular just can be very, very exhausting, or like I don't find them super exciting anymore for myself. And I see more the beauty within places that are more simple and authentic, and I think this is the place. It's super calming, like the nature here is so beautiful. And then, I mean, besides of that, of course, being in a group that has just been amazing, because I'm really, really happy for, in general, for all the women here, because I think everyone individually is a really good person. And of course, it's a natural way that the group shapes, and some can connect better and some develop conflicts with each other, but in general I think we've done very well.
Very well. I'm very happy and proud of our group.
Yes. And also, yeah, I think it's just I'm also glad that it has not been only focused on the business part, but it has been very focused on the personal development part and the community within and the friendships that have built.
Did the break give you more answers or more questions?
I guess both, as in I felt like it didn't give me so many new insights for my business, because as I told you, like the model already exists since 50 years. And I've had so many interviews before, like with different models. I visited supermarkets, I talked to different people from self-managed organizations, and
you were also
I've been in an accelerator program, so it's not so much, new input of how following the steps of a business model canvas or whatever. But what was the question again?
Are there more questions than answers?
But it showed me again also, because this summer I was at a lower point for my motivation for the project, because it's been already a couple of times that I've been working on it, and it's just hard to implement. And I was sometimes thinking like, oh, am I really not still doing what I want to do? Because I also come from, more the consulting part, and I think my skill or passion is also working with people in taking more the role of facilitation and empowering them and designing together ways of how we can work together and how this organization can have an impact. But taking the role of a facilitator and not only being the what I'm now, like different roles of operating and building things. And so that was one insight and one answer, and maybe also a new question of how I can implement that more, and maybe building more focus on my personal brand, as we like to call it here, but also using my capacity and skills for the project, so doing both at the same time.
What advice would you give to the next breakers?
Just let it go.
Let it go.
Follow the flow. because I think it's better to make not so many plans here and just let the experience happen and just be open-minded and be patient and try to not take things personally, because I think there will be conflicts and situations that can happen, but also of course take time for yourself, take the space that you need and just enjoy it to the fullest. And Oscar and Lulu are so amazing, our hosts.
They are.
So
Thank
be
you
nice,
so
be
much.
nice to them.
Be very nice to be kind to everybody, but especially Lulu and Oscar. Okay, just one final question. What is your favorite book and why?
My favorite book is it's a child's book. I'm not sure if there's an English translation, so it would be called Momo and the Gentleman in Grey.
How is it in German?
Momo und die grauen Männer.
Okay.
And it is about how we as a child just be more open, listening and interested and playful in the world, and how we lose it during the time. And so in this book I try to explain it in a few words, but like the gray gentlemen that come are the timekeepers, so they tell you like, oh, you have to organize your time better and don't play with the kids anymore to be more efficient and more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But the people just lose happiness and just become gray by themselves. Mm-hmm. So it's also about just still stay a child and not trying to be over productive and over efficient. And I really like that approach.
Thank you. I really need to find that book. I hope they have it in English. Thank you so much, Bob. It was lovely having you.
Hey guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will subscribe to Polly's channel because she's amazing.